Okay, so I've got a rooster crowing. I don't know how well that rooster picks up, but hopefully it's not too distracting. But today I have been working on Halloween decorations, which is one video. Don't know if it'll be posted before or the same time or after this one, but this is going to be the start of another Hocus Pocus project for Halloween this year. And I have made this body. It's got one bent leg and then another leg back here. And then I've made these cross pieces here so he can stand up. And I've just attached the little L brackets. And then it just comes up into this little mess up here. If you can sort of make out how this is done, I've just randomly built like a skeleton out of these scrap pieces of wood. This piece creates his shoulders, and then of course this piece up here will be the neck. And I'll kind of turn that around so you can get an idea of how that looks. And this is actually going to be the mummy. There's a little mummy prop in Hocus Pocus that I'll of course post a picture of so you can see that. But that's what I'm trying to create here. So with all of my people that I make for Halloween, that's kind of how I make them, just out of scrap wood. And now this is not going to go on there, but you know, if you have stuff like this, like just this cheap little witch, you know, she just hangs up, but this would also be good for her. Like, I'm going to see if my camera is up here, but you could take stuff like this and attach it there. And you could even do like, you could put a dress on that form and then put this on there just as extra, and actually work with this and make that look kind of cooler and have it like a more realistic looking prop. But I've got her, and I've got this little guy. He needs a little work. I think he's missing his bottom jaw, but you could even take and put something like this. Again, that's just one of those cheaper hanging decorations, but you could attach this to a body like that if you just wanting to make something a little more dramatic and actually have it standing somewhere instead of hanging it up. That'd be a good form for things like this. But today, like I was saying, that's going to be the mummy from Hocus Pocus, and I'm going to take just some of this foam like you would put on your bed or make cushions with for like benches or whatever. I'm just going to bulk him up. I'm just going to staple this around the torso area and maybe a little bit around the legs. And for the arms, I'm just going to take a coat hanger and flatten it out, stretch it out, and then just tape that across the shoulders and let the coat hangers hang down to where I can make them, you know, posable. So I'll do that and then wrap it with this foam. And once I get that done, I'll show you what I'll do next. Okay, so before I add anything to this, I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I mean about putting the coat hanger across the shoulders. Now, just took it apart, and then I'm just going to stretch it out straight. And then I'm just going to attach it right there like that. I'm just going to take some tape and tape it around here to where these will be the arms. And then that way I can just pose this out here how I want it. But you're just going to run it across there and tape it in place. And also, I didn't show what I'm going to use for the head. I've got this stick sticking up here because that's where I'm going to put the head. And of course, I'm just going to use a styrofoam head. This one's kind of been chopped on a little bit, but you won't really notice that once I wrap it like a mummy. And it's just really banged up, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one. I may need to go up on the shoulders because that's going to put like a really long neck on it. So I may have to put, I think I'm going to have to put another piece across here a little higher, because that's going to give him a really weird neck if I don't put the shoulders up. So I need to either raise this up or just put another one there, because it'll work either way. Okay, so I've got my coat hangers on, and I've got one arm wrapped over here, which is a little lumpy and looks like a little Michelin man, like a really long Michelin man. But it'll work because, of course, I'm still going to wrap this in the white stuff. So anyways, here are the arms, and then you can just bend them about where you think the elbow needs to be and pose them however you want. You could even bring them up, raise them up above him or whatever. We've got the head on, so I think now I've got this, I think it's quilt batting, but I'm going to go over the arms with this after I do that, just to try to hide those lumps and to also just give me like a base, I guess like a base layer for when I start wrapping all those little mummy wrappings around him. And I've got all this mummy wrapping stuff. I have no idea where this came from, but yeah, I really can't remember. I've had this, and I always knew that it would be perfect for a mummy, but I've got tons of it. So it's just going to take a little while to get this all wrapped up in the foam and that quilt batting and then all this, but I think it's going to turn out really good. He looks a little weird, but you just gotta, I guess, wait and see how he's going to look, because heck, at this point I don't even know, but I'm sure he'll look good. Just knowing how some of the others I've made has turned out before. This is how I always make my scarecrow bodies. But I screwed him real good to the base to make sure he don't come loose or anything. And even if I put him outside, I can like lay a block down there on the bottom so that it don't blow over, or even put some stakes through it. You could drill a hole through those boards and drive a stake through it. But anyway, I'll finish wrapping him up and we'll check out how it looks. Alright, so here is how he is looking. He looks pretty good. I wasn't sure how this would go, but I think it's going pretty good. I keep looking back at the picture, and the one in the movie, he wasn't like perfect, so I feel good with what I'm getting so far. I was trying to be too perfect, and then, like I said, every time I looked back at that, I thought, well, he's not, so maybe I shouldn't try to be so perfect. And it's not as easy to wrap a body, like you think it would be. You just kind of have to take your time with it. And this is like a big, wide cloth, and it keeps wanting to get kind of small. So as you're wrapping, you want to keep it spread out, and it'll go further, and it'll look better. So I've just got to slowly and carefully just do it as I go. And again, with that being a coat hanger, you can bend his arm and pose him, and I think it's looking really cool. I can't wait to get him all the way wrapped up. Now you can sort of see how I've stuffed his body. One thing I should have done with that is put the knotty part on the inside so he don't look lumpy. I'm hoping maybe I can go over it with some of the, I ran out of that quilt batting, so hopefully I can either find some more stuff to go around that, or maybe the wrappings will take away from it. I don't know. I'll just know when I get to that point. Okay, so this is where I am, and I'm not actually going to show the full body. I will make you all wait until the house is actually decorated and this is in its spot. It looks pretty good. I think will look better in place. It's definitely not like a replica of what's in the movie, but it will pass, I think. It looks fine, but if you put them side by side, it's just definitely not the same. But I think he looks pretty good. I am going to try to do some sort of a little face, because the one in the movie has a little bit of a face, little eyes and a mouth. And another thing this will work good for is my Scooby-Doo collection. And like when I do pictures later on with Scooby-Doo, this will be really good for that too. But this is all I'm going to really show of it for now. until the big reveal, the day I decorate. And then I'll move on to the next little prop that I'm going to work on. I don't know. That'll probably be in the next little video, but I think this one's turned out pretty good for what it is.